Hello everyone and welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel. Sharon and Nick attempt to locate Matt Clark. What happened on The Young and the Restless? A muscular bouncer tried to keep Nick and Sharon out of the shadow room on The Young and the Restless. Image, CBS. Although the focus of today's daily YAPP is Sharon case, reaction to the return of Matt Clark, Roger Howarth, the man Sharon and Nick, Joshua Morrow, believed to be dead, The Young and the Restless provided us with nice scenes between father and son, Jack, Peter Bergman, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Miller, and Claire, Haley Erin, and Holden, Nathan Owens, chatting post Sharon dashed back to the hospital to give Nick the all clear after Matt dismissed her for pointing out that he was still alive. It didn't take long for Nick to put two and two together, noting that if Matt was indeed back from the dead, then he could have been involved with Noah's, Lucas Adams, accident. Nick said, "This is too much of a coincidence," and he said he was going to see Matt for himself. It sometimes takes weeks for soap opera characters to take action, but Nick and Sharon hightailed it over to the shadow room to confront Matt aka Mitch and his wife, Sienna, Tamara Braun. Nick brought Sienna up to speed, pointing out that her bouncer called a man Mitch, whom Sharon thinks is Matt. Sienna advised Nick that he was barking up the wrong tree when he insisted on meeting him. A lot happened in this episode in terms of Nick and Sharon taking action, and Sienna defending her husband. We still don't know what's going on with Mitch, also known as Matt. The Young and the Restless, you've got us intrigued. Want more details? You are ours. The best comprehensive Y&R recaps are available online at Soap Central. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers, too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously do not, forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs. Hey, admit it, we're funny, in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show, and the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Nick confronts his mortal enemy. What's next on The Young and the Restless? Sharon, played by Sharon Case, and Nick, played by Joshua Morrow, on The Young and the Restless. Photo courtesy of CBS. Nick, Joshua Morrow, connected the dots quickly between his son Noah's, Lucas Adams, accident and the return of Matt Clark, aka Mitch, in Los Angeles. As longtime Y&R viewers are aware, Matt is Nick's oldest and most formidable foe. He not only raped Sharon Case, but he also contributed to Matt's imprisonment for Matt's sake. On Wednesday's show, watch for Nick to confront his mortal enemy. The two men might come to physical blows like they did at Crimson Light's coffee shop when they were teens. When Sharon made the claim that Mitch, also known as Matt and played by Roger Howarth, was Matt, he acted dumb. Will Mitch follow suit, stopping Nick from doing what he probably wants to do? Skeptical minds. If she needs to be, Vicky, Amelia Heinle, can be just as ruthless as Adam, Mark Grossman, on The Young and the Restless. Image, JPI. Nick and Sharon are fortunate to have family in Los Angeles to support them throughout Noah's ordeal. Watch out for Victoria, played by Amelia Heinle, to be suspicious about Noah's accident on Wednesday's show. Nick and Sharon might simply be too close to the situation to think objectively. Having Victoria, who also loves Noah, on the scene brings a fresh perspective to the situation. Vicky has a lot of creative ideas. If she needs to take action to look into Noah's accident, then she'll take it. Thankfully, Vicky is not the only one in LA. Her mother, Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, is with her and can hopefully lend support should Victoria decide to take action. Suddenly Sienna. On The Young and the Restless, Tamara Braun as Sienna and Roger Howarth as Matt. Mitch. Image courtesy of JPI. When Sienna, Tamara Braun, told Nick that Mitch wasn't around at the shadow room, she was being dishonest with him. Mitch, also known as Matt, showed up right after Nick left. Sienna had defended her partner. On Wednesday's show, watch for Sienna to cover her own tracks. Does this mean that she will have to lie about how long she has known Mitch and whether or not she knows anything about his past as Matt Clark? Sienna is a no-nonsense woman who appears to be very loyal to the people she cares about. That might be what Sienna does if she has to lie to protect Mitch and herself. The reappearance of Matt Clark, a man long thought to be dead whose past sins have left scars that still shape the lives of Sharon and Nick Newman, is one of the few storylines on The Young and the Restless that stirs up as much intrigue, emotion, and history. This episode revisits that dark chapter with startling immediacy, plunging viewers into a suspenseful quest that fuses mystery, revenge, and moral reckoning. The re-emergence of Matt, who goes by the alias Mitch, not only brings back old wounds, but it also forces Nick and Sharon to confront their shared trauma and consider how much of the past should remain hidden. When Sharon first spots Matt, her reaction oscillates between disbelief and horror. By juxtaposing Sharon's calm, maternal composure with her raw shock at seeing a man she thought she had escaped forever, the script highlights this emotional turmoil. Her instincts kick in instantly. Matt's dismissive attitude and denial only reinforce her fear that he's up to something dangerous. In soap opera tradition, truth often hides behind smooth lies, and Sharon's refusal to ignore her intuition sets the dramatic wheels in motion. Her next move, to tell Nick immediately, reveals how deeply entwined these two characters remain despite their complex romantic history. Nick's response is protective, impulsive, and tinged with anger. When Sharon recounts what she saw, Nick's reaction shows both his skepticism and his dawning realization: if Matt is alive, then his son Noah's recent accident may not have been an accident at all. That chilling thought fuels the episode's energy and transitions the story from emotional shock to investigative urgency. Why Matt Clark matters. Revisiting a dark past, it is necessary to recall Matt's identity and activities in order to comprehend the magnitude of his return. In addition to being a villain, Matt Clark was one of Y&R's most psychologically destructive characters. His actions, particularly his assault on Sharon, caused her to experience a long-lasting trauma that shaped her identity and relationship with Nick. The writer's decision to resurrect this storyline decades later is daring, tapping into nostalgia while exploring how time changes the ways people carry pain. Nick's confrontation with his old enemy thus becomes symbolic. We witness the combination of a father's primal instinct and the fury of a man revisiting unfinished business as he connects the dots between Matt's return and Noah's accident. This mix of vengeance and justice is reminiscent of the two men's previous fights, which shaped Nick's transformation from impulsive child to protective parent. The gritty noir aesthetic of the Shadow Room series makes it the ideal setting for this collision of the past and the present. The gatekeepers of truth, a central theme in soap opera narrative, are brought to light by the bouncer who tries to prevent Nick and Sharon from entering. Every time the protagonists seek a revelation, someone stands in their way. When Sienna, Mitch's wife, steps in, she fulfills this archetypal role, spinning lies to protect her man while hiding her own complicity. Her demeanor, cool, calculating, and loyal, adds new layers of intrigue. Is Sienna knowingly assisting Matt in his schemes, or is she just an innocent spouse duped by a man with secrets? Sharon's courage and the power of intuition. Throughout The Young and the Restless long history, Sharon has often been portrayed as both fragile and resilient, a woman haunted by her past yet continually reinventing herself. This episode restores her agency. She doesn't hesitate when she sees Mitch and realizes that he is Matt. Her decision to confront reality, even one she dreads, highlights how far Sharon has come since her younger years of denial and self-doubt. In the midst of the chaos that surrounds her, her bravery provides a quiet but potent counterpoint. Her partnership with Nick in this investigation also rekindles the familiar chemistry that longtime fans cherish. Even though they don't have a romantic relationship, their common goal brings back the dynamic that made them one of the most beloved couples in the daytime. Their teamwork, driven by love for their son and their intertwined past, anchors the storyline emotionally. Nick's physicality and determination contrast beautifully with Sharon's calm intelligence, evoking classic soap opera detective duos. The Protector and the Avatar by Nick Newman. In this episode, Nick's arc is like the journey of the typical hero. He begins with doubt, moves on to suspicion, and finally engages in confrontation. His dialogue brims with controlled rage. "This is too much of a coincidence," he declares, voicing both the viewer's skepticism and his own sense of dread. For Nick, Matt's reappearance isn't just about Noah's accident, it's about reclaiming power from a man who once destroyed his peace. When Nick and Sharon arrive at the Shadow Room, his persistence drives the scene's tension. The bouncer's resistance, followed by Sienna's smooth deception, heightens Nick's frustration. However, Nick's refusal to back down and insistence on seeing Mitch indicate that he is not only looking for proof but also for closure. His confronting the embodiment of evil from his past, demanding acknowledgement of what was done to Sharon and to them as a couple. Joshua Morrow's portrayal of Nick shines here. His physical intensity, contrasted with Sharon Case's quiet resolve, creates a palpable energy. The scene feels almost cinematic, the former lovers united against a shared threat, stepping back into their old roles as protectors of one another. The reintroduction of Matt Clark reawakens Nick's moral code. He cannot rest until justice or vengeance is served. The web of lies, Sienna's complicity. The character of Sienna adds a crucial layer of moral ambiguity. Played by Tamara Braun, she's immediately captivating, a woman who oozes confidence but hides something under the surface. When Nick demands to see Mitch, Sienna insists he's not there, her tone smooth and dismissive. Yet the script's payoff comes moments later when, after Nick and Sharon leave, Matt walks out from the shadows. This simple reveal exposes her deceit and repositions her from bystander to co-conspirator. Why would Sienna lie? Her motivation could be love, fear, or self-preservation. This ambiguity, typical of soap operas, keeps viewers guessing. She might be protecting a man she believes is innocent, or she might be deeply enmeshed in his schemes. Either way, her deception sets up multiple future conflicts, between her and Matt, should he push her too far, and between her and Sharon, whose instincts are rarely wrong. Her ability to cover her tracks, as hinted in the preview, suggests a cunning intelligence that will make her a formidable adversary. Family bonds and suspicion, Victoria and Nikki step in. The script cleverly widens its emotional scope by bringing in Victoria and Nikki Newman. Their presence in Los Angeles not only grounds the storyline in family loyalty but also introduces contrasting forms of strength. Victoria's suspicion about Noah's accident adds a detective-like sharpness to the plot. She is the pragmatic person who is able to see what others miss because of emotion. Her willingness to dig deeper reflects her complicated moral compass, ruthless when necessary, protective always. Nikki's role is quieter but equally crucial. As the Newman matriarch, she represents wisdom and endurance. Her support for Victoria, and by extension, for Nick and Sharon, reinforces the theme that the Newmans' close ranks when threatened. This dynamic makes Matt's reemergence not just a personal vendetta but a family war. If history repeats itself, the Newmans will unite, even amid internal tensions, to destroy a common enemy. Symbolism of the Shadow Room. The Shadow Room is not at all a random choice for the setting. Its very name symbolizes deception, secrecy, and the thin line between light and darkness. It is a nightclub or bar in a literal sense, but in a thematic sense, it is a liminal space where masks conceal the truth. It's the perfect stage for the reappearance of a man thought dead, a shadow from the past stepping into the present. When Nick and Sharon are blocked from entry, it mirrors their larger struggle, trying to penetrate the walls of deceit surrounding Matt. The emotional maze they must navigate takes on the form of a microcosm in the Shadow Room. In addition to being a literal obstacle, the muscular bouncer at the door represents denial and resistance. The audience realizes that this entire space is run by a web of lies as soon as Sienna starts lying about Mitch's presence. Sharon's psychological struggle, trauma revisited. One of the most powerful undercurrents of this storyline is Sharon's trauma. Seeing Matt again reawakens memories she has spent years trying to suppress. Her reaction, shock, fear, anger, feels authentic to someone encountering their abuser after believing them gone forever. The Young and the Restless has long been known for tackling complex emotional issues, and Sharon Case's nuanced performance ensures this isn't reduced to melodrama. Sharon is presented in the episode as both a victim and a survivor. Rather than collapsing under the weight of memory, she takes control, confronting reality and taking steps to protect her family. This evolution mirrors real-world conversations about trauma and agency. By making Sharon proactive, the writers show growth not just of a character but of a genre historically criticized for recycling victim tropes. Her relationship with Nick also gains depth through this lens. Their partnership in facing Matt again allows for healing, an emotional exorcism of sorts. In facing their shared past, they also rediscover the strength that once bound them together. Whether this leads to romantic reconciliation remains to be seen, but emotionally, it's a homecoming. The moral chessboard: truth, revenge, and redemption. Soap operas thrive on moral ambiguity, and this storyline is no exception. Every character operates within shades of grey. Matt, as Mitch, may justify his deception as survival. Sienna lies out of loyalty or fear. Nick may err on the side of vengeance rather than justice because he craves confrontation. Sharon's determination to expose Matt runs the risk of reopening wounds that have never healed completely. Even Victoria's investigative zeal, while noble, could spiral into ruthlessness. This moral complexity is what keeps The Young and the Restless compelling after decades on air. It's never simply about good versus evil, it's about how love, trauma, and ambition twist those definitions. As the investigation into Noah's accident unfolds, viewers will likely discover that Matt's role isn't the only secret in play. Each revelation will force characters to confront not just what happened, but who they've become since. Performance and production: bringing the past to life. Casting Roger Howarth as Matt Clark was a masterstroke. Known for his layered performances on One Life to Live and General Hospital, Howarth brings a blend of menace and charisma that makes Matt's return believable. His ability to project both charm and threat ensures that viewers remain uncertain of his true motives. The chemistry between Howarth, Case, and Morrow electrifies the screen, proving that soap storytelling thrives when anchored by strong performances. The direction of the episode leans into noir aesthetics, dim lighting, sharp contrasts, and claustrophobic interiors which mirror the psychological tension of the plot. Every visual choice reinforces the idea of hidden truths struggling to break through darkness. Even the pacing, rapid cuts between emotional dialogue and suspenseful confrontations echoes classic Y&R tension-building techniques. Looking ahead: consequences and theories. As the episode ends, several questions linger. Why has Matt returned now? Was he responsible for Noah's accident, or is his reappearance a coincidence masking someone else's scheme? How much does Sienna truly know? And perhaps most importantly, how will Nick and Sharon's rediscovered partnership affect their future relationships, especially with new romantic interests potentially complicating the mix? Victoria's suspicions suggest that the family will soon uncover layers of conspiracy. It's possible that Matt's death years ago was staged with help from shadowy allies, perhaps tied to the Newman or Abbott business empires. The show's writers often weave corporate intrigue with personal vendettas, so a connection between Noah's accident and business rivalries seems likely.